Okay. Hello, everyone. So, anyways, sorry. I am Nicole Diaz, for those of you that don't know me, and I wanted to come on really quickly to just to chat. And since right now I'm running back and forth, this is just the quickest way for me to put a video on here. But I'm gonna get right to it because the title pretty much speaks for itself. Okay, I'm using, okay, never mind. I'll talk to my son in a second. But for some reason, I'm like blurry. I don't know why. So, I just got through doing a live stream on my other page, Misunderstood, which I talk about like sobriety type stuff. This one is more random. And I wanted to kind of give you I had a title somewhere. Right. Yeah. Okay, so I was talking about like my thoughts on people, and I talk about a lot being an INFJ and my ideals on that, and I will make videos on that, you guys. I will. But I go by Misunderstood on my other channel, mostly because of the INFJ thing. I think that sometimes it's easy to misunderstand what we mean by that, or what exactly does it stand for. And I wanted to tell you some of the thoughts that I have on people. And my son, that's what I'm going to talk to you about. Look, there's a lot of times where it could be difficult because I'm a very forgiving person in nature, and there's a lot of times where I know somebody would tell me something like, oh, this person did that, this person did whatever, and your response should be a certain way. But INFJs have this way of looking inside of a person and looking at people for better. We try to see the good in people versus the worst. And that is why we attract a lot of narcissistic type people. They're like drawn to us, sociopaths, etc., because an INFJ is a caregiver, and we're brutally honest about how we feel things. When I say brutally, I just mean because there's no sugarcoating. We don't like small talk and stuff like that. When I see a person, I could feel their energy, and there's people that I can connect with, and they just understand. I mean, but an INFJ, although we can seem extroverted, we are introverts. And the type of INFJ that I am definitely one that needs their downtime, and I need to have that space to re-energize, and I need time to let my thoughts, since I'm led by my intuition. But being led by my intuition is so accurately correct, and that's just the way that I have to live life. It's like I have to be a part of something bigger than myself, which I do that with dance. And when I see most people, I feel their energy and what they need, and I try to, without saying anything, be accommodating that way. So unless that person is trying to hurt me, I just love humanity, and I love people and animals. It seems like animals get me. So it's like, we do. Hey, Dome, how are you? Oh, good seeing you here too. I think that's hard sometimes, and sometimes people will say like, "Oh, it's an actor." I know in relationships it's been really hard because people will tell me like, "You're not upset," or they try to get like an emotion or reaction out of me that they're just not going to get. If I am unhappy for a while, or I can't just enjoy life or be myself, then there's that INFJ door slam that I talk about where we just leave. And it's called a door slam because we're either in or out. We don't have friends that's like, we'll tolerate you and we're nice, but to be in our inner circle, you don't have to do anything but be a decent person. But we can tell immediately if somebody's gaslighting us or somebody is trying to minimize what we're saying, and all you got to do is just be decent. But that's why I believe that INFJs have the rarest, we're the rarest personality type, because we are truly led by intuition, and we can truly feel a person's energy, honestly, even before we come into the room. A lot of times, especially if you're mature and you're not mature like physically mature, like as an INFJ, right? And I knew that young, and I knew that people would just feel a certain way around me, and I love that, but it also drains me a little, and I have to disengage sometimes, because as an introvert, we get our energy with our alone and our downtime, but we still need our social time. It's just that but if we stayed social, then we would be drained and not able to function, literally. Dome, you agree? Yeah. And that's, I mean, according to, I didn't have to take a personality test, but I was just tested like all the way because of therapy. I went through a lot of tests. I went through early IQ tests and things like that. It's just that we need things to be a certain way. But one thing that does hurt me sometimes when I'm dealing with someone is, if I give you something, it's because I want to, because I have no problem saying no. No is actually my favorite word, because it's a complete sentence and it needs no explanation. I do care for people, but then if I don't, I just nothing them. I don't hate them. I just nothing them. And I think the problem sometimes with contradictions and being an INFJ, a lot of people will claim to be an INFJ, a lot of people may even think they are, but an INFJ is so grounded in who they are as a person that you can make a ton of videos about me, but we're more than likely to stick up for a person who doesn't speak out, or to stand up to a bully. Because we know who we are, and we cannot be convinced that we are someone else. The problem is the narcissist that is attracted to an INFJ. It's because the narcissist they mimic an INFJ's gifts and abilities, but they're out of character. How do you know that? The narcissistic rage. I'm not diagnosing anyone, but in this case, I'm talking about behavior types, and I'm speaking on the internet attracts narcissistic people, because you can be whomever you want to be. You can pretend, but I can, an INFJ, especially an empath, or like a healer type, is an INFJ's a narcissist's worst nightmare, because no matter how charming you are, we see through that, and yeah, we will get taken advantage of. But when those feelings are done, there is no grace period. You're just done and you're shut out. And that's when you see people, especially in my case, I get a lot of people that's mad at me, or they'll start smear campaigns because I'm so loving and caring. But when I am done because I'm drained from how a person has treated me, that is the strength in my personality type, is that you're not even missed. You're not, there is a dark side of being INFJ, because you're not missed, you're not thought of. And psychological warfare is better than anything that you can ever do to me. When I see it affects other people, because I do care about people genuinely, I will genuinely help someone out just because, without even saying that I helped them. But if I see another person, especially somebody that has narcissistic tendencies, and they're pretending to be something else, and they start affecting a bunch of people, I'm going to say something, I'm going to speak out. And if I believe in something, you cannot pay me enough to side with you, even as my friend, not because I don't love you, but because I can't go against my core beliefs. And that is, to just respect people and not bully them or put them down for who they are. Believe it or not, let's see, we like flashy things, but we're not materialistic. but we like name brands and nice things like that. So, but when I see someone that's struggling, I would rather see you in a certain position. I loved seeing people prosper and things like that. But the downtime that I need is hard because I have to have it. And especially if my brain is overworked, or if I feel someone taking a lot of my energy because they're around me and they're feeling like depressed, and I am a natural healer. Like I want them to feel better. Um, I have to disengage, especially because my children and the people around me absorbs my energy as well, just like I could feel your energy. But you know what? If we listen to each other, you can have a friend. I don't like this word thing or this word salad or mind games. Like if a person says that they're fine, you don't really you don't have to ask them. Oh, sorry. Let me turn off my notifications because I'm only streaming on one platform right now. So you don't have to ask them. You can learn a lot about a person by just being silent, and that's why I said we're full of contradictions, because I talk a lot. You can learn a lot about a person by just listening with your heart and your eyes. Watch them. If a person is suicidal or something like that, a lot of times they'll appear happy because they came out with a solution. So their body is calm. They seem happy, but that's when we lose somebody and we're like, wow, they were so famous or they had everything. But if you look inside without asking, because sometimes people don't know what's wrong, you can feel what a person is going through. So when I'm talking to my kids and I'm looking at them, especially with kids, okay, I think every mom has this intuition. Oh, you know, you have your child and you're like, everything's great. I love you. And you know that child is up to something. You could do the same with people. And I encourage all of us, including myself, that when we're talking and dealing with people, to look within, because to me, a joke isn't funny if another person is going to be devastated by it. And it's definitely not funny if you're going through something, or I don't want to advertise that. I don't want to get on this campaign of, oh, this person lost it. You need to do this for your kids. That's the toxic positivity stuff. I think that people are inherent, like for the most part, I'm going to run into decent people. But I think that the bad people that I run into sometimes can affect the relationships that I have with the people that I meet. And I get extremely emotional and I cry easily. But I like to tell people the saying that I am fragile like a bomb and not like a flower, because I'm going to fight for everything that I believe in. And I am going to fight for my friends that I love, and my family, just people that I care about, because I do not believe we all have different gifts. And I do not believe in tearing down a person because I feel a certain way. I do not believe that anyone should be held to such a high standard, like we're seeing online with this cancel culture, where if you're not perfect, I'm going to cancel you out. You should lose your there's some things you should lose your jobs and your career for. If you go after kids, or you're the a kind of person that you know what, I love you, but you know, you're already using drugs. Why don't you just die? That's toxic positivity. You're trying to dress things up in a nice way, but you're killing that person. But other people who don't quite know the inside of it think you're being nice, but the person receiving that compliment from you feels the sting. But when people stand up to you, not you guys in the audience, but people that stand up to you, um, you're gonna say they're playing the victim, and then you become the victim. Like, wow, look at all these people talking about me. They're talking about me. Listen, people, I believe, are good, but people want to be liked. And I feel that because we all have this need to belong somewhere, we connect with people that speak passionately about stuff, even if we normally would not have agreed with what they're saying. And when I see things that happens that normally wouldn't happen, let's say being attracted to a minor, pedophilia type stuff, I I believe a lot has to do with charisma and propaganda. And if you take people that have been through stuff, that have any type of low self-esteem or problems, you hit a group of people with the same message again and again and say that you're okay, you're this way because this person is like this. And if you can come up with the common enemy or a common person, now the person on the other side of it don't really know the insights or your personal relationship with this person. But if you can take a group of people that have problems, that already feel down about themselves, maybe it could be like a black woman or a black person or somebody that's poor, or maybe like somebody who grew up in a foster home, and you say, you know what, you're all right, but this person is the reason that you're like that. Once a person starts feeling good, everybody wants to feel better. So they will cling to that kind of a campaign because something feels right, and then they become so invested in it. So even when there's holes and flaws in that person's theory and what they're saying, you're already so invested, and you don't want, number one, you don't want the same thing to happen to you. You don't want to be outed in the community, because that's when you see the triangulation, the turning a group against a person and outing them, or the mind game of, you know what, it's all in your head, and a lot of gaslighting stuff. And we see these things in history. It's human behavior is not going to change, right? History repeats itself because we don't recognize it in its modern form. We don't recognize it when it's a little different. So if you go back to World War, with Hitler, World War II, all that. So I can't pronounce that stuff. I can't pronounce that. Propaganda took a group of people that lost the war. You know what? Germany, we're great. We're like this because of these people, the Jews. And it was absolute nonsense. And you took people who normally wouldn't kill and turned them into a killing machine down to kids, because you can take a person can feel so low that you can feed them with subliminal messages. It happened the same thing to black people when black men, okay, they didn't have a history of rape, but what happened? You needed a group of people to feel better. The economy was bad, and before you could criminalize the black person, you first had to dehumanize them. I'm talking about black men in this case, all right? Women are completely different. You first had to make people see them as less than human, because if they seen them as human or their neighbor, there's no way you can shoot them down in the street. That is why I say people are inherently good, but it takes one person to take their intelligence and their manipulative ways to persuade a group of people that already feel down. Imagine not being able to feed your kids and all that stuff, and then you create scare. It's always scare first. Wow, the black man, he's gonna rape our women, our white women, knowing good and damn well blacks don't have a history of that. But this isn't a racial thing. This is just behavior, all right? So no one knew the bigger picture, which is just money. It was economy. So, but black people to this day still have to live with the stigmas from back then, which was all for profit. You know, anytime that black people want to prosper, or black men want to do something, they immediately bring, they don't mind black people, so to speak, or people. It's just that, wanting better or prospering, that kind of scares people. And it goes back to a long time ago with the government and people lying about a group of people. That is why I stand up to people who will take one person's mistake. Maybe it's a woman who got raped, maybe it's a woman who people consider a whore, and you turn everybody against her. But these group of people doing it don't realize, you say one comment and you got 30 other people commenting that you don't know in that person's inbox. And when that person decides to commit suicide price, you're the first ones to want to get on your channel and talk about it. You know, if you have a problem, one thing with me, I usually what do I tell people? DM me. Here's my number, text me. I don't exploit a person's problem, because this is it's like the internet. You can have narcissistic people all over, but the internet creates opportunity. So now you see that is saying that they'll help you. How are you going to help me and your life is a mess? You know, you want to help them as long as they agree with your terms. So again, you take decent people, right? Decent people, and you put a message in there, disguising it as humanity, disguising it as the right thing to do, and you turn them into what you want them to be, knowing good and well that your motives are selfish, but the rest of the people really don't know. And by the time they become so invested, it's hard to pull away. I believe that happens again and again. It's part of what we see with what's happening in any type of racism or hatred against another group of people. It's a lie told over and over again, and it becomes like truth, and it's hard to see people. We all do it. There's a difference between racism and being prejudiced that I will not talk about right now, but these are the things that as an INFJ, I can't help but think about. All right, my mind just works that way. People are inherently good, but if you don't question a person, if when I hear something, I know the source and I want to go to where, and I want to question things that I think that I already know, because I don't think that people are bad. I think that people are influenced by bad people. And because we only know part of the story, we want to believe our leaders. We want to believe people that we see as decent. But when there's something wrong and you can feel it, those aren't the questions you need to ask you. Don't block out that intuition and that inner feeling. We do have more than 5 senses. We have another sense. We have a 6th sense that I don't want to talk about because I don't want to sound weird. And people already talk about me being in a cult. That's another story for another day. Listen, I'm not going to bore you with any more. People are decent and I love people. But when I see that one person, you can do something to me and I am quiet. But when I see that one person then going on again and again and affecting the community, I am going to speak out because I don't want to see a whole community. I don't care if you're white. I don't care if you're Black, Hispanic, Asian. I don't care what you are. I love you for who you are, okay? But I don't think that whether you're Black, it's not okay to target your own race. It's not. It's not okay to say things like, you know what? Wow, I see this Black. Wow, she's beautiful, but she must have an attitude. She's not married. Something must be wrong with her, as if you're the prime choice for this woman and every woman. Listen, we need to stop putting each other in these categories and this white and Black thinking. Let's remember to consider the gray and to not label people based off of our personal beliefs, because a lot of things we hear, propaganda is anything outside of your home that sends a message. Could be the internet, TV, and we get ideas from things outside of us and from nonverbal cues in how people treat us. Black women are no different than any other woman. We all get angry. We all have emotions. White women have their own kind of culture. Asian women, we're all different. It's not one size fits all. There's over 1 billion people in this world. And if you cannot find one person in a certain, the problem may not be that other person, it could be ourselves. We have to look. If I cannot find a man, okay, let's not get on that because, I have my own issues. I love you guys, all right? Ask questions and let's be kind to each other. And remember that there is a person behind the screen. My name is Nicole. I talk about random stuff on here from an INFJ's point of view. And I would love to know other people's personality type, how you see things, and your thoughts and opinions. My other page is Misunderstood, spelled like miss and then understood, where I talk about sobriety type stuff. And I'm Nicole Uncensored on Instagram. I will eventually put all that stuff in the links later in my bio. But for now, I want all of you to be safe. And please know that none of this is to judge. It's just my thoughts and it's a random rant. I'm Nicole Knows Nada. My name is Nicole, all right? But I may know a thing or two about this, all right? Let's be kind to each other and be safe until next time. Thank you. And if you like this, please subscribe. See you soon.